Hi guys, Marissa here, author of The Rise High Investor. Really excited to be here with you again to share with you my weekly tips for property investors. Today I'm talking about I'm answering a question that I get asked a lot. As you would probably know if you've been following these videos, I am a big supporter of the buy and hold strategy when it comes to property investment, which basically means you buy and you hold and you're in it for the long term. So I often get the question of, well, how do you actually retire and quit your day job when you are implementing the buy and hold strategy? So I thought I would dedicate this video to that question and talk about the life cycle of an investor in my eyes, and how you transition from going from accumulating your properties to getting to a point where you can quit your day job if you wanted to, and actually just really reap the rewards and benefit from what you've built. So I think I've broken the journey into 4 stages. The first stage being acquisition, the second stage being development, the third stage being consolidation, and the fourth stage being enjoyment. So I'm just going to talk you through each one of these just so I can explain how I believe you can really build a good portfolio for yourself that will enable you to retire comfortably using the buy and hold strategy. So firstly, acquisition. So this is obviously right at the beginning of your journey when you should be madly acquiring property. And this is about a stage in your life where you are buying the right property and buying really good investment grade properties that are going to help you long term. During this stage, the more properties you can buy and the quicker you can buy them, the better it's going to be for you long term. One little consideration here is that you need to make sure, as you're accumulating your properties, you need to make sure that you're managing your cash flow and you are factoring in things that might come up in the future, like rising interest rates and changes to your circumstances and your income and expenses. So just keep an eye on that, but as long as you're comfortable with your cash flow, you should be acquiring and building as quickly as possible. During this stage, you're going to have your debt is going to be growing, but hopefully it's your good debt that's growing, and you are going to have to focus on your borrowing capacity and work really closely with your mortgage broker to make sure that you are always maximising your borrowing capacity, and make sure that you know where your limit is. You're also going to need to be working closely with your accountant to make sure that you're setting up the properties in the right ownership structure. So that's stage 1, acquisition. Stage 2 is development, and sometimes I think there's a little bit of crossover between acquisition and development. By the time you get to the development stage in my mind is all about maximising the properties that you've got. So that might be doing things like having a look at your portfolio of properties and seeing where you can actually add value, seeing what you can do to lift the value and lift the rental return of your properties to basically get your LVR down. Your LVR is your loan to value ratio. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to increase the value of our properties, and we're trying to do that without increasing the debt to the same proportion. So this is really about adding value to your properties. It might be through a simple cosmetic renovation. You might have accumulated some large blocks of land that have some subdivision or development potential. This is about maximising your cash flow and really making the most of the assets that you've accumulated. So this might be a good stage to enter into. For example, if you've actually exhausted your borrowing capacity and you don't have the ability to borrow anymore right at this point in time, but you might have some properties that you could actually do some cosmetic work to yourself to lift the value and lift the rental return, which may in turn help you to increase your borrowing capacity. So I see the acquisition and development stages may intertwine a little bit. There may be, you may be doing a little bit of acquisition, a little bit of development, and back to acquisition, but that will actually just play out depending on where you're at in your journey and how you're going with your acquisition. So once you get past the development stage, you then go on to consolidation. So by the consolidation stage, you've actually bought enough property, okay? So you've reached a point where you've actually got enough property to help you achieve your long-term retirement goals. But probably at the beginning of this stage, you've also got a high level of debt. And really what this consolidation stage is about reducing your debt. It's about reducing your LVR. So it's about really, really bringing down the loan to value ratio. And the way that we do that is through, hopefully over time, the time period that has passed since the acquisition stage and where you're at now, and and hopefully you've done a bit of improvements to those properties, the value of the property should have grown. Okay, but at the same time, it's also about getting to a point where you can actually start paying down some of your debt. And obviously, at this stage, you want to pay down the bad debt first. So anything that is any debt that's related to non-income producing assets. So, for example, if you've got a car loan, personal loan, credit cards, they've got to go first. Next would be your home loan on your owner-occupied home. That would have to go down next. And if you actually have eliminated those debts, then you can start tackling the investment debt as well. So really, consolidation is about getting your LVR down. And by the end of this phase, we really would love to get the loan to value ratio down to about 50%, which means your debt level is about 50% of the value of your income producing assets. So then we keep tapping away at that, and we move into the enjoyment phase. And with the enjoyment phase, I like to see, this is basically the stage of your life where you can throw in the towel at work if you wanted to, give up your day job and just live off of your investment properties. And I sort of think a good rule of thumb is that you'd love your LVR to be at around 20% or lower at this stage. So there's a few ways of achieving that. If you've been a property investor for long enough, you may actually find that your properties have gone up enough in value compared to your debt that just naturally by the time you get to that enjoyment stage, the LVR is quite low. And that is one way. If you've only been in your investment journey for a shorter period of time and you've only sort of seen one, maybe two cycles, then you might actually find that to achieve that loan to value ratio, you might have to sell a couple of the properties to actually bring that LVR down. If you can get the LVR down to about 20%, then what you should be finding is that the rental income from your properties that you retain should be plenty to cover all of your expenses, plus give you money to live off of. I've actually got a really, really good free resource for you on the Rise High Investor website. It is the bonus resource associated with chapter 10 of the book. You can actually download the resource for free, given that you've watched this video. All you need to do is go to the website, go to the bonus resource section and look at the chapter 10 bonus, and it will explain the stages of the investment cycle journey with you further. And it is a calculator that you can actually work out what stage of the journey you're at and what you need to do to progress your way through the journey. So I really encourage you to download that free calculator, and I hope that really helps you on your investment journey. That's all I've got time for today, but huge thanks for tuning in and thanks for all of your support. It's been great to get the feedback of these videos. I'm glad they're helping you. And I guess the other thing I wanted to mention was that I really do appreciate and enjoy getting your questions and comments. So please feel free to send those through. You can reach me at propertyinvestor@risehigher.com.au, and I love hearing from you. As a special thank you for tuning in, you can also buy a copy of my book for half price on the Rise High Investor website. If you just enter in the code video2018, the website is risehighinvestor.com.au, and entering the code video2018 will give you a 50% discount. So I really hope you enjoy it, and thanks again for tuning in, and bye for now. We'll see you next week. Bye.